Now, bueno, notice then we are going to see inclusive and exclusive we. Have you read that? When we deal with pronouns, we are going to see the meanings of the pronoun it, the meaning of the pronoun we. But we can be inclusive or exclusive. Bien. What about gender? With pronouns, see? Question.
Well, gender is like a little bit complicated in English because, well, apart from the fact that we have some which refers directly to the female or male, there are others, such as, for example, they or you or we, that they don't refer to the female or male role. So,
Tal cual, muy bien. That will depend on the context. So, personal, non-personal, muy bien. And if it's personal, it can make male or female. And what about the pronoun it?
Dual class.
¿Cómo?
Dual class.
Dual or let's say neuter, because it refers to object. We know that it's singular, but we know that it's neither male nor female. Bien. What else? As regards gender, what about this question of sexual bias? What do we do to avoid sexism? Or what can we do?
Yeah, sometimes we can rephrase the sentence in order to not use he or she, or maybe we can use a plural as we have seen before.
Yeah,
but we don't have the third person singular for like a neutral gender.
Tal cual. For example, if I say somebody stole my car. Now, if I say he, I mean there is like a sexual bias. Yes, I am assuming that it's a boy, but it could be a girl or both. So to avoid sexism, I can use the third person plural pronoun, they. Then we are going to see that. And in that way, I avoid sexism. Or if it's written, I can say he or she, as Alana said.
yes.
Bien. Anything else? También, using the plural he or she, as Ludmila wrote.
Also, it happens when we don't know if the other person is a female or a male, that it's something really common.
Perfecto, muy bien, Bárbaro. Bien, what about anything else as regards gender? No? What about number? Tal cual, Mili. In social media, this question of sexual bias is very common. Yes. Number.
I just have a question about number.
Sí.
Why the first and second person have more specific meaning than
Sorry, Pedro, I cannot hear you quite well. Can you?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's my mic. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Sí, now yes.
Okay, why is the first and second person have more specific meaning than those of nouns? I read it and I didn't understand it.
Where is that, Pedro?
It's in the first paragraph. It says, it is also worth noting that the plurals of the first and second person have a more specific meaning than do those of nouns. Except, for example, collective authorship.
Claro, because of the meaning. Look, we means I plus one or more persons. And you, with plural reference, normally means you and one or more other people. Because of the meaning. See?
Okay.
See? Because if you want to replace, for example, we with another noun, the noun may be vague. See? So in that way, the pronouns you we or you have more specific meaning. If I say we are from Argentina, it is clear who this we refer to? I, the speaker, and you, the audience.
Yes, and also mention that that thing of the collective nouns or the collective authorities, because you are not being specific. If I say the government said that, if another person listens to it, it can be the government, what people, what a nation. There are a lot of questions that can arouse at that mention.
Perfecto. Sí, tal cual. Muy bien, eh? Very good. So, how do we divide number?
Singular and plural.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Have you read the theory? Come on, there are like 20 people in this classroom and two or three are participating, and this is pretty easy. It can be singular or plural. Bien. What else? Anything else regarding singular and plural? Some are marked for number while others are not. And then we are going to see that. See? So if I say I, that is first person singular. But if I say, a ver, estoy pensando, who, the relative pronoun who. Yes, that doesn't show number. In any case, that shows gender. So if we know it's personal reference. And case, it's subjective. Bien, what else? Anything else as regards this? So these are the four features, person, number, gender, and case, four features that pronouns may have. Now be careful, some pronouns will have all these four, all four features. And if I say, Mary is my sister, she is studying medicine. She is gender, female. Personal, female. Number, singular. Case, subjective. ¿Y qué me faltaría? Number, gender, person, third person. So notice that pronoun has or fulfills for the four features. But then we will see that there are others that may fulfill one, two, or three, not all of them. As I said before, relative pronoun. Mary, who is my sister, is studying medicine. Who is a relative pronoun. The function in that clause is a subject, so it has subjective case and personal reference, o sea, gender, but it doesn't show either number, sí, nor, ¿cuál era el otro? Case.
Case.
No, sí, case sí, porque es subjective, era subjective.
Gender, ¿no?
Gender y case sí, y el otro que, perdón, no muestra, person and, el otro se me fue. Person and number. Entonces, be careful, pay attention to the word. ¿Sí? Bien. Now, let's start with pronouns themselves. I suggest that you work with this class. This, it says subclasses of pronouns. Notice that there are central, reciprocal, relative, interrogative, and demonstrative. Those pronouns. Ay, esperen, se me está botando la batería. Those pronouns have specific reference. Aguanten un minutito. Bien. So, as I was saying, see, take that chart, yes? Central, reciprocal, relative, interrogative, and demonstrative pronoun have specific reference. while indefinite pronouns have non-specific reference. O sea, ahí tenemos pronoun specific, non-specific, specific, central, reciprocal, relative, interrogative, and demonstrative. Non-specific, indefinite. Indefinite can be positive, negative. Dentro de los positive tenemos universal, assertive, and non-assertive. Bueno, acá más adelante voy a hacer una modificación en este cuadrito. Más adelante, ahora lo dejamos así. Cuando lleguemos a la parte de indefinite voy a cambiar algo, un poco la clasificación.
Change it now if you want to. This is my part that
A ver,
I'm going to write it in the drive. I was waiting for you to like watch it, so if I had to do any modification, I could do it before
can
writing
you
it on
show
the
it
drive.
me? Can you share the screen?
I have it on paper. I copied it. And I was
Bueno.
waiting if you had to do any modifications, so
A
I
ver,
had
can
to
you show
write.
it to me? A ver if I can see it.
I don't know. Like I modify now what you said, and I'm going to like modify it. I'm going to do it today.
Ah,
So
bueno, in the drive.
yes, yes,
Perfecto. Bueno, then I will have a look at it.
yes.
¿Sí?
I will do it on
Da-
Google, so we can change it like
Dale.
all digital.
Perfecto, bárbaro, genial. Thank you, Millie. So, shall we start with pronouns? Hmm? Let's start with personal, o sea, specific, central, personal pronouns. Note that central pronouns are divided into personal, reflexive, and possessive. So for today, you had to read up to possessive, up to reflexive.
Yes.
Perfecto, muy bien. So let's start with personal pronouns. Notice that specific, central, personal pronouns are divided into subjective pronouns and objective pronouns. Subjective pronouns are those which are placed before the verb. Objective pronouns, those placed after the verb. So that shows, for example, case. Bien, what else? What about the meanings? Let's focus on meaning because you know what a subjective pronoun is or what an objective pronoun is. So let's focus on meaning. Let's start with the meanings of the pronoun it. ¿Qué les parece?
It can refer to inanimate objects,
Tal cual,
non-count
sí,
substances, singular abstractions, and to singular collections of people, for example, parliament.
perfecto, tal cual, como like a collective noun, lo que vimos. Perfecto, muy bien, Victoria, very good. And notice that the first meaning is referring it. What is that?
Sometimes we make reference to different kinds of things with the pronoun it because it is the most used in that cases. For example, if I refer to the previous sentence or if I refer to any kind of things by using it.
Exacto. Bien, en este caso, if I say, I have a dog, it is beautiful. It is specific, central, specific, central, personal, subject pronoun, that is the form. And the function is independent as subject of the sentence, right? And then we can say that as regards features, third person, singular, subjective case, and it's neuter for gender. Now, as regards its meaning, we can say that it's referring it. Why? Because it has anaphoric reference. Fíjense en que estos pronombres también tienen anaphoric or cataphoric reference. ¿Sí? So the first meaning of the pronoun it is referring it. The second one is prop it, but let's use a simpler name, empty it. And what is the use of the empty it? ¿Por qué? Why is it empty it?
It's a dummy subject.
¿Cómo, Oriana?
A dummy subject.
Tal cual. What does dummy subject mean?
That there is no real subject.
Claro, semantically speaking, it doesn't have meaning. Tal cual, Laureano, it doesn't have meaning, semantically speaking. But the thing is that English is a language that requires a subject. So you need something there that fulfills the slot of subject. And when do we use this empty it? In three cases. For example,
Time, weather, and
and time, weather, and distance.
Distance.
Exacto. See? So we use the empty it to refer to time, weather, and distance. See, it's cloudy today. Notice that it is, semantically speaking, is empty. It's an empty it. The thing is that I cannot say is empty today. I need a subject. Bien. Then another meaning, a third meaning of the pronoun it is anticipatory it. Do you know what an anticipatory it is? We are going to see this in detail next year in Grammar 2. So far, I will tell you that an anticipatory it anticipates the true subject, sí, tal cual, a true subject or a true object, see, that was delayed in the sentence. See, so anticipatory it can anticipate a subject or an object. So I will write an example in the chat board. For example, if I say, mire, it's difficult to solve this exercise. Notice that this sentence went through some changes. Grammatically speaking, the canonical word order, subject, verb, complement was changed. See? Why? Which is the true subject? O hagamos una cosa. Let's analyze this sentence. How would you analyze this sentence?
It would be the subject, is a popular verb, and difficult is an adjective phrase that it's a complement.
Perfecto. Now, what about the two infinitive clause to solve this exercise?
It's a prepositional phrase.
No, ojo que no es una prepositional phrase, to solve.
it's a sub non-finite clause as regards to the to infinitive, and is functioning as a adverb.
Adverb no.
No, porque
Adverbial.
Complement, porque es un copular.
Yeah,
No.
it's like
No, porque ya sabemos que el complement is difficult.
an
Ah,
adverbial.
No. Tenemos un it, un is.
tendría que ser como un objeto.
No, ojo ahí,
no,
porque
no
el verbo
puede,
es
pero
copular.
claro.
El verbo es copular. ¿Qué pasa? Recuerden, remember that all the elements in a sentence should have a form and function. So notice that in this case, you recognize the form, but you cannot recognize the function. Why? Because this two infinitive clause is the true subject of the sentence. The thing is that this true subject was extraposed. That is to say, it was placed at the end. See? And as we know, we need something that fulfills the slot of subject, in this case, the pronoun it. O sea, the pronoun it is anticipating the true subject. See, and the true subject is a to infinitive clause. O sea, let's put this in the canonical word order. To solve
Yeah,
this
we can say
exercise is difficult. Ese es el verdadero orden de la oración. When do we use extraposition? Exacto, it's rephrased. When do we use extraposition? Si esto de pasar al final. When the subject is too long and the predicate is too short, so there is no balance. So in order to achieve balance, we may resort to extraposed subjects. If you can say, notice that in this case, it is a grammatical subject, an anticipatory subject, but it's not the true subject, because the true subject is the to infinitive clause. ¿Mm?
Claro, es como que la referencia al it a su vez es catafórico. Porque
Tal
no,
cual, exacto, muy bien, sí.
So how would the analysis of the sentence be then?
It is noun phrase subject, perdón, noun phrase anticipatory subject, is verb copular, difficult adjective phrase, complement to the subject. To solve this exercise, subordinate non-finite to infinitive nominal clause, and the function is true subject.
Oh, so it's a new thing. Okay.
And notice that in this case, it is anticipating the true subject, but it can also anticipate the object. For example, miren, I found it difficult to solve the problem. I say it. It's anticipating the true object. See now, which is the true object to solve the problem? So I is a subject, found is a verb phrase, verb, complex transitive, it is the anticipatory object, difficult is a complement to the object, and to solve this problem is the true object. See, so notice that anticipatory object occurs with complex transitive verbs, and the true object is extraposed. ¿Se entiende?
yes.
Bien. Question and notice, as Ludmila said, that in both cases, it has cataphoric reference. Questions, doubts? No? Now, who uses meanings of we? So the first one is inclusive we. What is that? As we saw in chapter 3,
When it's involved the speaker and the audience.
tal
It is
cual.
generally used in, for example, in school, in order to not to refer to the student itself to as one person, or I want to refer to me and the students that we saw something the last class, for
Tal
example.
cual, exacto. For example, I usually start with last week we dealt with, it's you and out to get involvement from the audience. Very good. Then the editorial we. Yes, this is informal, especially scientific writing. See, by a single individual. See, and it's prompted by a desire to avoid I. So, for example, as we showed a moment ago, instead of saying as I showed a moment ago. And notice that the difference with the first one is that in this one is used in technical, scientific context.
Yes, and also to say that, for example, they develop something together, so it's not the only person that do the job.
Tal cual, exacto, muy bien. Then the rhetorical we, it refers to what?
The collective sense of
The
collective sense
nation.
of group of people or the nation.
Claro, the nation, yeah. So in this way, the rhetorical we refers to a nation, and notice that it has collective meaning, generic use, generic reference. Bien. And have a look at meaning the use of we in reference to the here, you, see, which may occur when a doctor is talking to a patient. How are we feeling today? And so this has inclusive meaning as well. Bien. Any other?
Another example could be if a teacher says to the class, "Are we ready for the exam?" for example.
Tal cual, muy bien. So notice that in a way this is connected with inclusive meaning. So we can include it there. ¿Sí? Bien. Mm, Bien, as we said before, these pronouns can have anaphoric or cataphoric meaning. See, would you like to say anything about this cataphoric or anaphoric meaning?
It's something that we were talking about while developing the
Sí,
other task because we know what is cataphorical and anaphorical, and it is like apply to the different examples that we gave from pronouns.
tal cual, exacto. Now, generic uses of personal pronouns. A ver, notice that sometimes the pronoun they, see, can have generic reference. The pronoun you can have generic reference, and the pronoun we. See, these pronouns can have generic reference. For example, if I say, we live in an age of immense changes, this we refers to people in general. No pasa nada, Rocío. Bye bye, no pasa nada. So notice that this we has generic reference, which is different from, for example, if I say, okay, last week we dealt with articles. Now we are dealing with pronouns. In that case, has specific reference, see, and notice that it's inclusive we. But if I say we live in an age of immense changes, this we has generic reference. The same happens with you. Look at the examples. You can never tell what will happen. So in that case, you has generic reference. O sea, it refers to people in general. See? And also, a ver, the use of they. See, for example, if I say they say it's going to snow today. See, who is this they? See, it could be people in general or people from a certain see audience, but it has generic reference. Hmm? Bien, questions, doubts? No? Now let's see pronouns with reflexive meaning. Have you read it? ¿Lo leyeron? Did you read
I
it?
didn't. I didn't read it. No, I didn't
No?
read it. No.
Era hasta el 23, profe. Había, entraba en la 26.23, relative pronouns. Oh, para, no, me fui.
6.23 is reflexive. I just didn't have time to read this one.
Ah,
Okay.
yes, no.
Sorry?
Sí, ahora no encontré, no lo encontraba. Pensé que estaban dando los reflexive pronouns.
Pero entonces, ¿hasta qué quedamos? ¿Hasta acá? ¿Hasta el 622?
Claro.
Ah, bueno. Pensé que le había dado más. Bueno, listo. Y nadie avanzó con la lectura. Bueno, hagamos una cosa,
No,
¿sí?
porque vos habías quedado que nos ibas a decir, tipo, la próxima semana lo que seguía. Y ahí es como que ahí se armó el día. ¿No?
Bueno, está bien. Entonces, para la próxima clase, quiero que lean hasta a todo lo que es specific pronouns. O sea, sería, terminan los central, que quedarían los reflexive, possessive, después los relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, demonstrative pronouns.
Terminaríamos lo de pronouns directamente.
¿Cómo, perdón?
Terminaríamos todo el chapter of pronouns.
No, no porque después nos quedan los non-specific.
Ah, claro.
Ni
Yes.
los indefinite, universal, assertive, non-assertive, nos queda. Pero sí, porque pensé que hoy íbamos a llegar hasta eso y podríamos haber avanzado un poco más. Chicos, entonces, para organizarnos, el parcial queda para el 23, ¿no? Bien,
Yes.
como
Yes.
la semana que viene era que había algo de, no sé, una
Sí,
muestra.
una jornada
El
el
viernes.
viernes.
Sí.
Bueno, perfecto. Entonces, como ese viernes no hay clase, nos vamos a encontrar el viernes 16, perdón, el jueves 16, ¿sí? Les voy a pedir el jueves 16 a las 11. Por favor,
Yes.
avancen con la
Yes.
lectura. ¿Mm? Y después nos quedaríamos, el 23 ese es el parcial, o TP, como lo quieran llamar. ¿Mm?
Okay.
Y después vamos a ver si en 2 clases o 3 a lo sumo terminamos pronouns. ¿Mm?
¿A qué
Profe, yo
hora
quería,
el jueves 16? Entonces tenemos clase.
Jueves 16 a las 11 de la mañana.
profe, yo quería preguntarle una cosa.
Sí.
Para análisis de sentences, phrases y morphology de palabras, ¿hay, además de todo lo que tenemos en el campus, hay alguna página que sea buena?
Ay, Pedro, ahí me mataste, sinceramente, nunca chusmeé por
Mm,
oraciones en páginas web, pero yo te sugiero que, por ejemplo, en Google pongas sentence analysis
análisis, claro,
exercises with key,
claro.
a ver si te aparece algo.
Sí, sí, lo encontré,
¿Mm?
pero como el análisis no era exactamente igual, no sabía si
Ay, claro,
podías,
bueno, ojo ahí, porque va a
por
depender
eso.
quién lo haga. Sí,
Sí,
ojo.
sí, porque me parece que me confundí con algunas cosas que fui buscando.
No, bueno, pero vos ya hiciste lo del Guardian.
Sí, lo hice por la mitad, pero no lo terminé porque era demasiado
Bueno, pero
y
ahí
no
tenés
sabía.
práctica. Ahí tenés
Claro,
práctica que está hecha por mí, tiene la aquí.
ok,
¿Mm? Chicos, no se pongan, no se autoexijan. Si yo hoy me da para hacer, tengo el tiempo para hacer 2 oraciones, hago 2 porque es preferible hacer todos los días un poco y bien hecho, o sea, bien hecho me refiero a conciencia, que después a lo mejor esté bien o esté mal es otra historia, pero me refiero a conciencia, usando un diccionario con mis apuntes en mano, pero hago solamente 2 oraciones y una frase, porque llegué para eso, porque es una actividad, son ejercicios que te llevan mucho tiempo, de mucha reflexión y demás. Entonces, no quieren un día hacer 20. Sí, porque termine lo más probable. A ver, cuando le agarren las manos después te sale automático, pero mientras tanto, hagan un poquito todos los días. Es ahí cuando se agarra la práctica. ¿Mm? ¿Sí?
ok, gracias.
No, por favor, ojo con el tema de las web, porque a lo mejor dependiendo del autor, el análisis. ¿Mm?
Sí, por eso.
Y usar que subí yo, Pedro, el del Guardian,
Bien,
que ahí tenés la aquí, cualquier consulta me consulta porque lo hice yo. ¿Mm? Bien, chicos, entonces el jueves que viene, 16, los espero. Seguimos con pronouns. Del artículo este del Guardian, hagan la práctica. ¿Están haciendo prácticas de noun y articles? Bien, preguntas o dudas que me quieran hacer.
Perdón, yo
Fíjense-
quería hacerle una pregunta, pero no con respecto a ese tema.
Dale, a ver.
Quería saber, o sea, por qué en el campus, digamos, de las actividades que fuimos subiendo no quedó ninguna. Yo algunas no le pude hacer, digamos, la copia, digamos, porque es como las hacía en el trabajo, algo le mandaba directamente y no me
Perdón,
quedó ni
Janina, no entiendo de qué me estás hablando.
de,
seguramente habla de los resúmenes que
claro, los
habíamos
resúmenes
subido.
que íbamos subiendo al campus al principio.
Ah, no, esos resúmenes yo los oculté. ¿Sabes por
Ah,
qué? Porque por el tema del parcial. Porque se acuerdan que cuando tuvimos estos intentos fallidos del aula, realmente no sé cómo funciona, pero tenía miedo que a lo mejor ustedes vayan a ir al resumen, cliquea y mientras estás haciendo el examen tenés ahí el resumen al lado. Yo los oculté.
bueno, porque no me quedó mucho material de estudio personal, digamos, mío.
Bueno, pero
Eh,
vos lo tenías ahí.
claro, hay cosas que yo las tenía ahí porque, como le digo, las hacía desde el trabajo
Mm.
y las subía directamente. Y
Bueno,
otras cosas
si quieren lo
que las
vuelvo a
subía desde el
activar.
teléfono.
Bueno, yo lo vuelvo a activar, pero empiecen a sacar, chicos, porque sí, porque yo también necesito hacer limpieza del campus. Lo activo, sí, lo sacan, sí, no se copian ni pegan, se lo ponen en un drive o lo que sea, sí, porque ya eso ya no lo trabajamos más. ¿Mm?
Bueno, sí, igual me sirve de material de referencia en
Obvio,
general.
tal
Eh,
cual. Bien,
bueno,
chicos, ¿alguna
gracias.
otra pregunta?
Sí, profe, en The Guardian, yo porque quizá no había más y no la vi. Hay 2 páginas de nouns
Sí,
solamente, ¿no? Son
es que es todo
como
el artículo.
11 nouns.
O sea, el artículo tiene 2 páginas, ahí hay todo. Si
Perfecto.
te soy sincera, no sé cuántos nouns hay. De todas formas, si vos ya los hiciste, yo te sugiero que agarres ese mismo artículo, vos empieces a elegirte vos tus nouns, analizalo, y yo no sé si vos estás trabajando con alguien, pero está bueno también esto de que sean más independientes ustedes, en donde digo, bueno, me elijo estos 5 nouns, ponele que Aldana trabaja con Oriana, ¿sí? Hoy Aldana dice, bueno, analizamos el noun no sé, House, Mary and Tom. Cada cual lo hace por su cuenta. Esto lo hacía yo en el profesorado. Si les sirve, tómenlo, apropiense. Cuando lo terminan de hacer, se ponen un deadline. Lo hacen cada cual por su cuenta o se juntan, no sé, eso depende por ustedes. Y después, self-correction. Entonces, si surgen dudas, ahí me preguntan, pero acostumbran también, o sea, a no depender tanto del docente. Sí, a esto, si bueno, hay 20 nouns, ya los hice, listo, ahora voy a buscar yo por mi cuenta. Y voy a invitar a un compañero, si quiere trabajar conmigo, analizamos los mismos nouns y después hacemos autocorrección. ¿Mm?
Okay, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Bien, chicos, ¿alguna otra pregunta? ¿No?
Solamente te quería decir, profe, que si podés corregirme el parcial cuando puedas,
¿Sí?
a ver si lo aprobé porque
No,
estoy
no,
nerviosa.
corregir lo tengo que corregir, obvio. Pasa que no lo había visto ahí por mail. Ahora después te lo corrijo, ¿eh?
Gracias.
No, por favor. Bien, chicos, nos vemos entonces.
Última pregunta, el tercer parcial OTP sería de pronouns.
Pronouns y vamos a ver si pongo algo de verbos también.
Dale,
Sí, sí.
thank you.
Bien, chicos, nos estamos viendo entonces el jueves que viene, ¿sí? Buen fin de descanso.
Okay, see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.